There is a detail from a recent legal analysis that most people will not believe the first time they read it. Lawyers in family court cases across the United States are now advising clients to subpoena smart appliance data as evidence in custody disputes. Your Samsung Family Hub refrigerator takes an internal photo every time you close the door. It logs voice commands, it syncs your calendar. All of that data flows to cloud servers, and none of it is visible to you, but every bit of it is accessible via a court subpoena. The average internet-connected American household had more than 17 smart devices tied to the web in 2025, according to research firm Parks Associates. And by 2026, an estimated 84 million households have some form of smart home device. Most people bought those devices to make their lives easier. Very few of them read the privacy policy before connecting the appliance to their home network, and the ones who did probably did not get all the way to the paragraph that explains what happens to their data after it leaves the house. Here is what is actually happening inside your kitchen. Modern smart appliances from Samsung, LG, GE, and Whirlpool collect a level of granular behavioral data that would have required a private investigator to gather 20 years ago. Door open and close patterns reveal occupancy schedules, showing when the household is home, when people wake up, and when they go to sleep. Energy usage cycles indicate how often someone is cooking and what time of day. Internal cameras on models like the Samsung Family Hub capture photos of the refrigerator's contents every time the door closes. Voice commands processed through the appliance's microphone are logged and can include ambient conversation that was never directed at the device. LG's ThinQ app, which manages its smart appliance ecosystem, has been found to include 10 third-party trackers actively mining phone data beyond appliance usage, according to privacy audits. The data does not stay with the manufacturer. It flows through supply chains of third-party brokers who aggregate it with data from your phone, your smart TV, your thermostat, and your car, and use the combined profile for advertising targeting, insurance risk assessment, and in some cases resale to parties whose identity is not disclosed to the consumer. A cybersecurity researcher at the University of Texas at Dallas described the trajectory to a reporter plainly. Once the refrigerator realizes you are out of eggs, you will get ads for eggs. But the microphone in that appliance can also pick up conversations about sensitive health conditions, financial stress, relationship problems, and those conversations can feed the same advertising targeting system. The legal dimension of this is what makes the story genuinely alarming rather than just theoretically concerning. Smart appliance data has already appeared in real legal proceedings. Divorce attorneys are using appliance logs to establish behavioral patterns, and custody lawyers have started treating smart home data the way they previously treated phone records. The data is encrypted in transit and invisible to you, but a subpoena cuts through that invisibility in a way that an appliance owner almost never anticipates when they are choosing between a standard refrigerator and a connected one at a big box store. U.S. Senators Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell, an unusual bipartisan pair, have twice introduced the Informing Consumers About Smart Devices Act, most recently in January 2025. Which would require the FTC to create disclosure guidelines forcing manufacturers to clearly label any product that contains a microphone or camera capable of recording before the consumer buys it. Senator Cantwell's statement during the bill's introduction was direct. Most consumers expect their refrigerators to keep the milk cold, not come equipped with a camera or microphone to record their personal and private family discussions. The bill has not yet passed into law. In its absence, the disclosure obligation falls entirely on the manufacturer's terms of service, which is a document that runs into thousands of words, requires legal training to interpret, and is accepted by almost every consumer without being read. The data collected under those terms of service agreements is not hypothetically useful to advertisers. It is actively valuable, which is why manufacturers have built the data collection infrastructure into their hardware at significant cost. The appliance is not primarily a cooling device from the manufacturer's economic perspective. It is a revenue-generating data collection node that happens to keep your food cold. The practical protection available right now is limited but real. Most major manufacturers maintain a portal where users can request a download of their stored data, which at minimum tells you what has been collected. Router-level MAC address blocking can disable an appliance's Wi-Fi connectivity while preserving its basic functions, though this also disables remote monitoring and app features. For voice-enabled appliances, most have a hardware mute button for the microphone that is more reliable than software-level disabling. And reading the privacy policy before purchase, specifically the sections on third-party data sharing and retention periods, is the one action that is universally recommended by privacy researchers and almost universally skipped. The broader context is that your kitchen in 2026 is connected to the same data infrastructure that governs your phone, your search history, and your social media. The difference is that you know your phone is collecting data. The refrigerator feels different because it is furniture, because it has been a passive object in your home for your entire life, and because the surveillance capability is invisible in a way that a phone screen is not. The Spy Fridge Act, Senators Cruz and Cantwell's bill, has been nicknamed in press coverage, is the legislative acknowledgement that the gap between what these devices do and what consumers believe they do has become large enough to require government intervention. Whether that bill passes before the data collection becomes significantly more sophisticated is the open question. What is not open is whether the data collection is happening. It is ongoing, and the terms under which it happens are ones you almost certainly agreed to without reading. If this changed how you think about the devices you have already connected in your home, subscribe and leave a comment below about whether you knew your appliances were collecting this kind of data before today, because I want to know how many people actually read those terms of service.